Our second speaker this evening is Wesley Sherwood. He is presenting a speech from the Pathways Persuasive Leadership. He is thankful that his work family has supported him during times when he has been successful, and more importantly, when he hasn't been as successful. He will gladly brag that he's not the sharpest tool on the team, but Wesley does not seek the limelight. However, he does seek success. He's grateful that he has the opportunity to help the team be successful. Tonight, he will discuss in more detail what he enjoys about being a leader. Join me in welcoming Wesley Sherwood. Why am I a leader? Why am I a leader? Wesley Sherwood.
I sat at my desk and carefully started organizing the items that are on there. I went through the drawers and I was searching, trying to find something special. You see, it was my first day as a supervisor, and this was my very first time in a leadership role. As I searched through the drawers, I was looking for that book, Leadership for Dummies. Fellow Toastmasters, we don't have any distinguished guests here tonight, unfortunately, but any of you who have ever taken on the task of herding cats? My life started out as a leader several years ago, and one of my very good friends, Myron, said to me, "The day you become a leader is the day you learn more about yourself, and your life will never be the same." Having been a leader, a supervisor, manager, club president, vice president of Toastmasters clubs, I've learned that Myron is so true. It becomes a time for introspection. You see a time where your sagacity increases. Not just your IQ, but also your EQ or emotional intelligence increases. There are three reasons why I became successful as a leader. Number one reason was I was an extroverted introvert. Number two is I loved helping others and seeing them succeed. And number three is I have a thrill for learning. My whole life, I was an introverted person. I would be hanging around in the shadow of my other friends that liked the limelight and were popular during school. I never wanted to be in the front. I never wanted to be seen. I wasn't one of the famous people in high school. I was just that nerd that was there studying in the background. When I was being raised, I was told that I could do anything I want in this world. And I believed that I could do anything I wanted in this world. The only person that I had to battle was myself. See, I had a little problem called low self-esteem. And with low self-esteem, I would question every decision that I made. There would always be that voice in the background telling me to play things safe. I had to learn how to get over hearing that voice and still push myself forward. Because inside of me, I believe that one of the best ways for you to be successful is to take some risks. Like the popular saying, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. One of my previous managers, Dave, said, "Well, you have to understand, Wesley, in order for you to grow, you have to be in a state of discomfort. Growth never occurs when you're comfortable." Having had that discussion during one of my PR reviews with Dave, I decided, well, I am going to push the envelope. I'm going to make myself very uncomfortable. And right away, I joined the Carrollwood Toastmasters Club, because at that point, I figured that would be the best way to make myself uncomfortable, as I already had a fear of public speaking. The reason I joined Carrollwood Toastmasters was because I wanted to be successful in life. And my idea of success is having an impact on this world from the day you're born all the way till the end. The idea is to leave the world better than you found it. So how did I show up? Carrollwood turned me into an extroverted introvert No longer would I sit there and question that thought in my mind, well, you shouldn't do that speech. Well, you shouldn't volunteer for that role. No, instead, I would take every opportunity that I can get. And Shirley could tell you firsthand, she's seen me do it many times. She probably sat there next to me and listened to my knees knock as I volunteered to be Vice President of Membership, Vice President of Public Relations, not Vice President anymore, President of Carrollwood Toastmasters. However, my journey of leadership is never ending. It continues on and on. I have a passion for solving problems. I also have a huge passion for helping others solve their problems. I take a very analytical approach, and I will take as much time as required to ensure that whomever I'm teaching will be able to learn. I've spent many hours making presentations, repeating topics over and over again, just so that I can drive that point home and help that person be successful, not just to find the answer, but to understand how they develop that answer. So in the future, they can play it forward and help someone in the same role. One of the biggest things about being a leader is also having a sense of adventure. I started having a sense of adventure as a child because I like to read. And reading, you can go anywhere you want in a book. However, later on in life, I still continue learning, whether it's from a book or having adventures, or you may see me somewhere on vacation, flying down a zip line somewhere. I saw a video on YouTube that mentioned that leaders have a sense of adventure. So down the road, I'm always looking to see what's happening, what's coming over the horizon, and what plan that I can have to mitigate the next thing coming up over the horizon. But as a leader, you also have to look backwards as well, while you also maintain the present. The reason I look backwards sometimes is I like to keep an idea on my successes. When you use your successes to boost yourself forward, you're able to be more successful simply by, you're sitting in a situation, imagine this, you're struggling with a problem and you say to yourself, you hear that voice in the back of your head saying, I can't do this. This is too hard. I've never done this before. But what I've said to myself and also to my team is, well, what have we done here in the past? Have we ever been in a situation where we can't get out of this? We did, and we were triumphant. And so together, we will make it through this one. As a leader, you have to understand that your team depends on you, but you also depend on your team. And if you're a Toastmaster, you have many opportunities to also volunteer and be a leader as well. Will you join me on this journey, Toastmaster?
Wesley, your speech was wonderful on why am I a leader? I'm going to be very straightforward with you, Wesley, because I want to see you grow, and I love you, quite honestly. So here we go. You definitely excelled in the beginning. You said, find something special. You were digging around. That's a good cliffhanger. I was like, what is he looking for? Come on, man. Come on, let me hear it. I love that. Then you said rule of threes, or you did three things. You said three, and you did rule of threes. Very easy to follow, very organized. I also enjoy that. And then you counted on your fingers, 1, 2, 3. Very good hand gesture. Fantastic. You also had a real life story about your high school self. You explained a little bit how you acted and how you improved. I like that. I like when you said sometimes you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Really enjoyed that, sir. That paints a picture in my head. You also said your friend, I believe, told you that growth never occurs when you are comfortable. And then you tied that to an example of you being uncomfortable joining Toastmasters. And then you shared some stories about when you were uncomfortable at Toastmasters. And you explained in detail your knees bumping into each other. All that was very imagery provoking. It made me see what you were talking about. I absolutely loved that. Then at the end, you said, will you join me on this journey? I like that because it gets you thinking. Very well done there. I also noticed you had little to no filler words. Fantastic. That's very hard for a lot of people to do, and you nailed it. Now let's get into the building section of this evaluation, Wesley. When you said in the beginning, you looked around, you said, well, it looks like we don't have any distinguished guests tonight. Brother, you're taken away from your speech. That time is precious. I want to hear what you have to say, and that is useless information. Please do not tell me that. I don't care, honestly, as a listener. And I noticed that your hands were crossed in front of you when you were speaking, kind of like this. That's okay, but I feel like it'd be more natural looking if you put your hands just straight to your side. And then when you're ready to pump in some enthusiasm, throw that hand up and really get us on our toes. I also noticed when you speak, you're a little robotic sometimes. Sometimes when you speak, it's just like this, and you speak your whole speech kind of in the similar body position. But don't be afraid to get your head out there and move your shoulders. I mean, get into it. It's a dance, brother. It really is. You got this, Wesley. And sometimes I noticed that you randomly pause, and it seemed like you were reading something, like a telemonitor or something, like a news person. And I think that just takes away from the effect of your speech. If you work on that flow, I mean, it will be unstoppable. It will be the best speech you have ever made. I guarantee it. And then at the end, you said, will you join me on this journey? That was nice. Good question, but you didn't give us time to ponder. You kind of jumped into Toastmaster. And it was like, whoa, are you asking the Toastmaster or are you asking me? And we need that time to ponder because it's a good question. It needs to be thought about. I like that. To challenge yourself, like I said, better flow, less random pauses, more body movements. And I mean, if you get that down, you will be unstoppable. Back to you, General Evaluator.